Every few years, someone makes a documentary claiming the pyramids were built by aliens. And every time, scientists roll their eyes, debunk it, and move on. But here's what those scientists don't tell you. The real story of the pyramids is somehow more bizarre than aliens, because we actually have no idea how they were built. Not in the way they teach you in school. Not even close. Let's start with what we actually know, and where the story completely falls apart. The Great Pyramid of Giza is 481 feet tall, made of 2.3 million stone blocks, weighing between 2 and 80 tons each. Some of those blocks weigh as much as 12 cars stacked on top of each other. The base of the pyramid covers 13 acres. And here's where it gets weird. The base is level to within 2.1 centimeters across its entire footprint. That is not a rounding error. That is laser precision engineering in 2500 BC. Modern engineers have tried to replicate this accuracy using today's technology. They struggle. The pyramid is also aligned to true north with an error of just 0.05 degrees. That's more accurate than the Greenwich Observatory, built in 1675, over 4,000 years after the pyramid. So the standard explanation is that ancient Egyptians, using copper tools and wooden sleds, achieved precision that stumped engineers for millennia. But that's not even the most bizarre part. Inside the Great Pyramid is a room called the King's Chamber, built entirely from red granite. The walls, floor, and ceiling are polished to a tolerance of 0.01 millimeters, not centimeters, not millimeters, 1/100th of a millimeter. That level of precision today requires computer-controlled machining, with a copper chisel and a wooden sled. Right. The granite used in the King's Chamber was quarried at Aswan, 500 miles away. The limestone casing stones came from Tura, across the Nile. Mainstream theory says workers floated the blocks down the Nile on wooden barges, then dragged them on sleds up ramps to the construction site. Here's the problem. The ramp. To maintain a workable slope for dragging 80-ton blocks, the ramp would have had to be over a mile long by the time they reached the top. Engineers calculated that ramp would require more material to build than the pyramid itself. So the official explanation requires building a structure bigger than the pyramid just to build the pyramid, and then throwing it away. With zero archaeological evidence the ramp ever existed. They also say it took 20,000 workers 20 years. That means placing one 2-ton block every 2 minutes for 20 straight years, including nights and weekends. Every 2 minutes. Modern construction experts say that timeline is physically implausible with Bronze Age tools. And remember, that's just one pyramid. There are 3 major ones at Giza alone. So what's actually going on here? Okay, so if aliens are wrong, and the textbook is full of holes, what do serious researchers actually think? Theory 1. Geopolymer concrete. French chemist Joseph Davidovits proposed in the 1980s that the Egyptians didn't carve the blocks. They cast them like concrete. Analysis of pyramid limestone has found air bubbles and organic material consistent with poured concrete, not quarried stone. MIT and other institutions have partially confirmed this is chemically possible with materials available in ancient Egypt. It still doesn't explain the granite. Theory 2. Acoustic levitation. We've known since the 1980s that sound waves can levitate small objects. Some researchers point to ancient Egyptian and Tibetan texts that describe priests moving stones with sound, which Egyptologists dismiss as ritual language. The physics to scale this up to 80 tons doesn't work with current science. Theory 3. And this one is the most mainstream breaking. Geologist Robert Schoch of Boston University examined the erosion patterns on the Sphinx. He determined the erosion was caused by heavy rainfall, not wind and sand. Heavy rainfall last occurred in Egypt around 10,000 to 7,000 BC, which would make the Sphinx, and potentially the pyramids, at least 7,000 years older than we think. The Egyptological community has largely rejected this, calling it fringe. Robert Schoch is a tenured professor with peer-reviewed publications. He's not a crank. He just found something that doesn't fit the timeline, and that makes people very uncomfortable. Here's what barely gets mentioned in the mainstream debate. The 3 pyramids at Giza align almost exactly with the 3 stars of Orion's belt. Not roughly, not approximately. The spacing, the offset, the relative brightness to size ratio, it matches. Astronomer Robert Bauval published this in 1994. It's been replicated by independent researchers. The Nile also appears to mirror the Milky Way in the same star map. Mainstream Egyptology calls it coincidence. The statistical probability of this being coincidence has been calculated at less than 1 in a million. And the internal shafts of the Great Pyramid, they point directly to specific stars, including Orion's belt and the North Star of 2500 BC. This wasn't an accident. The Egyptians built a star map in stone that covers 13 acres. The question isn't whether this was intentional. It clearly was. The question is, what knowledge did they have, and where did it come from? Here's the thing about the alien theory. It's lazy. It takes a genuinely extraordinary mystery and replaces it with a cop-out. The real story is that an ancient civilization achieved things we still can't fully explain, with materials we still can't fully account for, preserving knowledge we still don't entirely understand. No aliens required. Just a civilization that was far more sophisticated than we've been taught to believe. If you want to know about the second mystery at Giza, the one Egyptologists really don't want to talk about, subscribe. It's coming next.